Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to this live episode of Blind Tech Adventures, and we're about to have some adventures.
Yeah.
Welcome. By the way, Kirt is having some audio troubles because he's in Windows land today and he's using a very terrible, crummy, terrible, worst headset possible. Actually, no,
No.
it's not that bad of a headset. But Marco, if you're listening to it, I'm sure that you would say it was an awful headset. But then again,
Oh.
anytime I buy anything, you say it's bad. So.
Oh, come on. Marco did tell me it sounds quiet, which I'm sure it does, but it
Gotta
does
give him a
sound.
hard time. It doesn't actually sound very quiet when you're plugged into most things. Certainly
No.
wasn't when plugged into your
No,
Android, but
it
on the
sounds a lot.
Windows.
It sounds a lot louder on my Chromebook. I'll do that next time, but I'm showing Windows stuff today, so I'm connected to
Yeah.
my laptop.
So I'm going to actually go into the YouTube, and what I want to make sure is that we are relatively even. But feel free to
Okay.
comment, let us know how the audio is, and
Yeah.
we want to
Yeah,
make sure that. Let's
we are
see here.
having adventures in crappy Windows audio drivers, it seems like today.
Actually, we sound pretty even, so that's
Okay.
excellent.
Cool.
To my non-audiophile ears, my deaf audiophile, non-audiophile ears, we sound pretty good,
Cool.
which is good. All right. Let's see. So today, by the way, it is almost the Chinese New Year. If you celebrate Chinese New Year, or if you're traveling, or whatever it is, you're in Taiwan, China, wherever that part of the world, Happy New Year. Have safe travels, and don't bring COVID home with you. And very good. Let's see
Yeah.
what else. Do we have any other announcements? I don't think so.
I
I want to
don't think
thank
so.
Carlos and Sneed and all them for advertising us on their channels. I actually want to probably will put their links to the Hector from the Tech Extremists too, because they put together generally some, they're generally talking about mobile devices. But one of the things I emailed them or commented on their videos about is I would like them to either read out speed test results, or they're going to do videos with music that they put the audio, the description in the description, the speeds in the description. And they have definitely gone out of their way to do that, and so I appreciate them for doing that. And sometimes they forget, but a little reminder here and there, and they definitely are willing to
Yeah,
do
and
it.
they actually listen.
They do. Yep. So I want to thank them for that. And also, if you've come over from that channel, I know that we generally cover blindness stuff, but we cover random tech stuff too. So thank you for subscribing. And if you're here for the first time, some of you are, then thank you very much. And if you're here a long time
Yeah.
follower, thank you. Again, share it out, hit the like button, snack chap it, tweet it, tell all your friends about it.
Get subscribed, ring the bell, etc.
That's right. You got it. And we do have some comments.
Very nice.
Let's see. Austin has a comment.
Hey, Austin.
Hello, Austin. And he says hi. Hello. We also have a comment from Gene. He says, hello, everyone. What's up?
Hey, Gene. Good to have you.
I can't actually see that hi, so I can't tell you what's up, but, you know, something's up anyway. And let's
Yeah.
see. Today's content is courtesy of Libreoffice. So we're going to have a chat about Libreoffice. And this is a client I've used even before that, before it forked and it was OpenOffice. I've used a lot in Linux land. And I've used to some extent in Windows, though there are some accessibility challenges that prevent me from using it full time, but it still is a
Yeah.
very good Office suite. And most of the issues are more around like the slides part of
Yeah.
it, that kind of thing. But anyway, there's also a lack of browse mode and things like that. So we'll talk about some of
Right.
that. But anyway, LibreOffice, we'll be doing a demo of that with a screen reader. And we have a kind of a fun, very controversial discussion, especially if you're an NFB fanboy or fangirl, or maybe even on the other side of that.
Yeah, or if you're not.
Or if you're not, we have a very fun, probably controversial discussion that will piss some of you off, and that's okay because I don't mind pissing some of you off. And,
Hopefully we won't piss each other off.
hopefully. We've already had this debate a little bit, but we kind of figured it's good to, talk about it here and maybe get your comments and your feedback about it. And that is about this phrase, live the life you want. And you'll get to find out what we think about it. And
Yeah.
we might even have a little bit of disagreement. So
Yeah, imagine that.
And let's see. Gene says he's never heard of LibreOffice. Good. So it gives
It's
us something
nice,
to cover
yeah.
that you'll hear about. Austin wants to know if we've ever heard of NFB Newsline. Yes.
I
Great
love
service.
Newsline, yeah.
Yep. Great service. And certainly have heard of it. And Gene says, LOL, LOL. Why don't you come on, Gene?
Yeah.
You can come on and do your laugh for us. We can hear you
Actually laugh out loud.
Actually laugh out loud. Okay, so let's see.
We've got a little bit of news
We have a
today.
little bit of news. And so we'll start with what's new in the news. And the first article here we've got is some articles courtesy of the top tech tidbits.
Yeah. So basically what this is a great source for tech news. And this week they had a lot of new, there's always some new product that is supposed to help us see better with technology, and some of them have more promise than others, but there were like 5 or 6 of them in the top tech tidbits this week. So, if you're interested in that, I think it's good to actually talk to the people developing these because, I don't know how much they actually get input from us. But it would be nice to actually get some of this instead of just people talking about it, is kind of my thought.
Yeah, so they've got some things about this new game, this Wordle.
Yeah.
Everybody's big on this game now.
Yeah, I like Wordle. I can do a little video of it, maybe even. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Definitely some things about Alexa and the Olympics.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of things here. JAWS tips for emails. There's some kind of an app that is for signage or something. There's
Yeah.
an article about smart ranges.
Yeah, you're about to get to all of the AI things, Nimer.
Something about Braille R.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, that's for if you're doing statistics.
Yep, there's some kind of a graphics calculator.
Yeah.
Or no, graphics accelerator. That's a little different than a calculator.
Yeah, just a bit.
So this is for data visualizations using SAS products. Let's see. There's a Microsoft Disability Scholarship.
Yeah.
Docs voice typing. Hey, they stole that from us.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, come on, Dean. I know
I-
the guy who puts
I
this
even-
together.
Yeah, that's. I think we should email them. Like, hey, what happened to
At least
I noticed they stopped putting
advertise
us in
us.
their newsletter too.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, well, we're not a podcast, so.
Yeah, there's
That's probably-
Australian Open. Let's some sound design intervention for blind tennis fans.
Yeah.
Windows 10 versus Windows 11. This is a little old, but I guess it's good. Creating and reading accessible math. OCR websites that let you convert images into text. Spotify has a voice assistant. Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of content.
Yeah. You're about halfway through. This was a big one.
Yep. Let's see. There's also one about Windows 11 accessibility for the blind.
For the
blondes.
blonde. What about Windows accessibility for the bland?
New device lets people see infrared.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
That was one of them.
It's apparently some new pair of goggles that uses infrared technology. Yeah, I've seen so many of these things. Let's see if it actually comes out. We're still
Yep.
waiting on Strap. Hello, Strap. Um,
Yeah. They
there's
maybe scammed us.
yeah, there's a haptic feedback sleeve and goggles that allow blind people to see with their arm. Okay, what are you gonna do? Walk around swinging your
Right.
arm everywhere? Like,
Just hold your arm in front of your face all the
some of
time.
this is kind of silly to me, but maybe not.
Yeah.
High school students built a project that will help detect objects and describe a scene just as a human would. I've seen that promise before, but that's cool that it's
Yeah.
high school students this time.
Yep.
There's a bionic eye that helps an implant, or wow, words are really hard. Bionic eye implant helps an 88-year-old see. Okay, I think they would have better put that to use for someone who wasn't about to keel over and die. But maybe that's just me talking shit. I don't know, but like, if you're gonna do medical procedures, does it? Should you really? Like, what does an 88-year-old gain by all of a sudden being able to see? I don't know.
Yeah.
What the hell do I know? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
I guess now people are living longer and longer. Maybe he's got another 50 years
Yeah.
left or something. Who knows? I just think it would be, I shouldn't say funny, it would be sad, but in a way it would be kind of ironic if the guy had a heart attack tomorrow. And
Yeah. That would be pretty amusing.
anyway, I'm going to get in big trouble here, so I should probably just stop running my mouth and move on. Let's see. Gene, most of the readers have female voices. Readers? What? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Austin, how can NFB Newsline work on a telephone? Well, you call a number, and there's a voice that reads it to you.
Yep. And then you
And,
press different buttons to control.
Yeah, so you can do it that way, or you can use their iOS app. They don't seem to like Android very much, but
Yeah.
you know, NFB kind of likes to discriminate against Android users. But you know,
They say there's not enough people asking for it, which
yeah, even though Android is the #1 most used platform,
Yeah.
even for blind people. But you know, whatever.
yeah. But I mean,
Okay, so Apple releases iOS 15.3. We talked about this bug last week where
yeah, it was a big one.
yeah, it was definitely a serious issue where some people's data was being possibly accessed in Safari or something.
Yep. So, yeah, it was a really big web browser vulnerability where not especially Google IDs. That was kind of the thing that was like Safari was making it really easy for people to
Yeah.
see. So, if you're on iOS 15, I know a lot of times people don't update because they're worried about accessibility, and I get it. But if you're on iOS 15, you want to get this iOS 15.3 as soon as you can.
Let's see, S22s, they're coming in February. February 9th is when they're announced, and usually they get released a couple weeks later.
Yep.
Maybe we'll bring you an unboxing, and if we don't, then I'm
Ooh.
sure that blonde Android users will.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's about time for me to upgrade, so I'm very curious about
probably one of us might get it, and we might unbox it. Who knows?
these. Yeah.
Of course, the smart thing would be to wait a few months because then they will lose about half their value. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's Samsung for you.
yeah. I think what was really silly was they just released the S21 FE, which is
Right.
exactly the same phone as the S21, basically.
Pretty much.
Like maybe an inch larger screen or something. Like exact same phone, but it's a year late. So
Yep.
anyway, if you want watch a video about how cell stuff works, there's a link for you about how cell networking works.
Yeah. And I put that here just because I know a lot of times it can seem like a lot and really technical for, some people. I guess if you came here from, Sneed and Tech Extremist, if you came here from there, that's probably old news for you. But I know we talk about it a lot, and it's a pretty good, just basic intro. So I thought I'd link that here. I enjoyed it.
By the way, we have a chat here from a spammer. Thank you, spammer, but you're not welcome, so I'm going to
Ooh.
block you. Goodbye.
Ooh, let's see what the spammer said. Oh,
I think I removed the chat, but
yeah, I
it's-
can't. Oh, was it naughty?
No, it was just a bunch of nonsense and probably some other language or
Oh,
I have
okay.
no idea.
Yeah.
Looks like
okay.
in Cyrillic alphabet.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
So, whoever you are, thanks for joining us, but you're not welcome. And yeah, so just know that if you're going to spam us, it's probably the one time I will block comments.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Do we want to have our... No, we don't want to have the rant first. We're going to push everybody away.
No.
Let's start with LibreOffice.
Let's start with LibreOffice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, LibreOffice is something that I stumbled onto only recently when I didn't have a Windows computer and was trying to do everything with Chromebooks and Linux and using a virtual machine in the cloud. And, Google Docs is good, but there were some things I didn't want to do in Google Docs, and anyways. So I found LibreOffice, and what it is a free open source Microsoft Office alternative that has been developed by a team of people all around the world over the years. There used to be something called OpenOffice. You can get it on Windows, Linux, Mac, and I have mostly used the writer side. There are, as I'll show you, it's a whole Office suite. So there's slides, which is they've got a PowerPoint alternative, an Excel alternative. They've got it all. I've like I said, I've mostly used the writer, and as I'll show you here, it has a lot of features that I think put it on par with Word. And I think it can be had, you can have a conversation about both of them. And they both do things better than the other. Now, as far as accessibility, with the writer, I haven't yet had anything that's not accessible, but it's different. And as I'll show you, it's a little, some things might not be as easy as they are in Word. Some things might be easier. So let me start a screen share here. And actually show you all what I mean.
One thing I will say is that this Office thing, LibreOffice, will work a little bit better with NVDA than it does with JAWS. JAWS just has not really been optimized for it to the same extent. So
that's good to know.
Yeah, it definitely will work a bit better. And did you... Oh, never
Did
mind.
I what? Did I what? Okay.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay. All right. Give me just a second here. Oh, I wasn't on the right tab. That would make sense. Okay. Come on, screen share. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I had forgotten to turn off browse mode. Okay, that would do it.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Nope, we don't see your screen share.
It's almost here.
Oh, okay.
There we
Is
go.
sharing your screen now?
Now you should see it.
Yes, we do.
All right. Sorry about that. That's little little jitters getting back to Windows from Chromebooks because Chromebooks do these web apps a little bit easier. Let me slow
NVDA
down
menu. Preferences submenu D. Settings. S. Speech dictionary submenu D. Settings.
my
S.
speech rate just a
NVDA settings
little.
general left paren. Speech 2 of 14. Speech property page. Synthesizer grouping. Edit group change. Voice combo box break slider 39 alt plus R 38 30 30 35 34 33 32 31 30.
There we go.
StreamYard desktop content share Brave. StreamYard document.
All
clickable button,
right.
mute microphone. Clickable button. Turn on camera. Clickable
I
button.
would
Mic and
slow
camera.
down
Settings. Stop
about
sharing screen.
half of
Clickable
that,
button. Share
maybe.
button. Invite guest link. Leave.
Okay.
Clickable.
I can do that.
NVDA menu. Preferences submenu D. Settings. Speech dictionary submenu D. Settings. S. NVDA settings Speech 2 of 14. Speech property page. Synthesizer group change. Voice rate slider 30 alt plus 20 20 24 23 22 20 19 18 16 15. Rate boost checkbox checked alt plus T.
There you go.
Cool. Alrighty.
StreamYard desktop content share Brave. StreamYard blank. Clickable button mute microphone. Clickable button turn on camera. Clickable button mic and camera settings button. Stop sharing screen. Clickable button share button. Invite guest link. Leave.
Sounds like the speed sped up. Did you apply the settings?
NVDA
no,
menu.
I didn't.
Preferences
Here we
submenu D.
go.
Settings. S.
Here we go.
NVDA settings Speech 2 of 14. Speech change. Voice rate slider 30 alt plus 20.
Yeah, you're right.
9 8 7 15.
And
Categories list. Speech change. Voice rate boot pit volume automat punctuate
we
trust
go.
include capital sake beep use OK cancel but apply button alt plus A.
I thought I did all day.
Categories
There we go. Okay.
list.
There we go.
Speech 2 of 14.
That's better. Alrighty. So let me go to my desktop.
Folder view list. LibreOffice 7.2 checkbox check 2 of 71.
And I'm going to open up my Libre Office.
LibreOffice. Application option pane. Recent documents menu button collapsed R.
And I'll just tab through all the options I've got here.
Templates menu button collapsed E. Writer document button W.
Now this is the one I'm more familiar with.
Calc spreadsheet button C. Impress presentation button I. Drawing button D. Math formula button M. Base database button B. Help button L. Extensions button X. List thumbnail view. Application option pane. Open
Okay.
file button O.
So as you can see, that's basically everything you have in Microsoft Office.
Drawing
As
button.
Nimer said, maybe the accessibility in the slides isn't up to par with PowerPoint. And I will show you
Impress calc spreadsheet. Writer document button W.
kind of some of the good and the bad that I found in Writer here. So I will... Actually, first, I will go into my recent documents
Templates menu button. Recent documents menu button collapsed R.
and show you a manual for this Braille display that I've been checking out recently.
List thumbnail view. List thumbnail view. Kirt Manwaring resume. Q Braille XL user manual rev 191,221 of 12 level 1.
Okay, now this is a Microsoft Word file. That is a good thing about Office compared to something like Google Docs, where Google Docs can absolutely open Word docs. You have to export from Word into Google Docs to edit it. So you can read a Word document in Google Docs, but you have to actually save it as a Google Doc in order to make changes to it. Where with LibreOffice, you can read and you can make changes. And as far as I can tell, it keeps the formatting pretty much on par with Word. So let me open up this Q Braille manual. Come on.
Page 1 Q Braille XL.
Okay, here we go.
User manual. Blank. English manual.
All right. Huh, why did my Braille display stop working? Let's start and restart NVDA.
Taskbar. Welcome to NVDA.
There
Dialog.
we go.
Welcome to NVDA.
I've got Braille again.
Use show OK button. Q Braille XL user manual rev blank.
There we go. Thank you for your patience there.
User
Sometimes
manual.
this Braille display just does that.
Q Braille XL. Q Braille XL.
So this is a Massive document. It's
User manual. English manual. For software version 2.0.
I could go, it's really big. And so normally in these kind of documents in Microsoft Word, you could turn on your browse mode and you could move around by headings, you could move around by links, using all of those normal hotkeys you are familiar with from the web. With LibreOffice, and this is by far the biggest limitation I've found with accessibility, you can't do that. So like here, I could not press insert space and then navigate around this manual by heading. Now there is somewhat of a workaround which I'll show you here. It's not quite as efficient, but it does work. So what I'll do, LibreOffice has something called a navigator. And you open that by pressing F5.
Navigator dialog. Navigator option pane. Active window combo box 1 of 2. QBraille-XL-user-manual-rev-191220 left paren. Active right paren. 1 of 2 level 1.
Okay, and then I'll down arrow through
Content
everything
navigation
here.
view tree view. Tables 2 of 13 level 1. Headings collapsed 1 of 13 level 1. Tables 2 of 13 level 1. Frames 3 of 13 level 1. Images 4 of 13 level 1.
Now when it said headings collapsed, that tells me there are headings in this document.
OLE objects 5 of 13 level 1.
Not quite sure what OLE objects are,
Bookmarks collapse 6 of 13 level 1.
but there's bookmarks.
Line go back. Line HLK525759468. Line TOC1907978892.
So I don't know why I have things in this bookmarks here, but
Bookmarks
I'll go.
expanded 6 of 13 level 1.
Now, and you can expand and collapse these just like you would any other tree view with your left and right arrows.
Section 7 of 13 level 1. Hyperlinks collapsed 8 of 13 level 1.
So we've got hyperlinks here.
References 9 of 13 level 1.
Now, references, so if you're doing something like a college paper and you have footnotes or endnotes, you can navigate by those.
Indexes collapsed 10 of 13 level 1. Comments 11 of 13 level 1.
Now, this is something that is actually kind of nice. If there are comments in the document, you could have a list of them that you could just move through here,
Drawing objects 12 of 13 level 1.
which I would maybe like a little bit better than the way Word handles it, but I mean, they're both fine. So let me go back to the headings.
Headings collapsed 1 of 13 level 1.
I will expand this heading list here.
Safety precautions. Headings expanded 1 of 13 level. Safety precautions.
Now I'm just going to arrow through
Notice.
all the headings.
Table of contents. 1 getting started collapsed.
Okay, so that tells me there are subheadings within the Getting Started section.
2 basic functions collapsed. 3 notepad collapsed. 4 connectivity collapsed. 5 daisy reader collapsed. 6 applications collapsed. 7 options. 8 information.
All right, so that tells me that these options and information, those are just chapters that don't have any subheadings.
9 command summary collapsed.
All right.
5 daisy reader collapsed.
Let's go back into connectivity since we were having some issues with
Or
NVDA
connectivity
and
collapsed.
Braille a minute ago. So I will press right arrow here. Now it doesn't tell me that the tree view opens. And on my Braille display, I don't get any indication that the tree view opened.
Yeah, it would also be nice if it told you the heading level too.
Oh, it would. Sure.
Level 2 4.1 establishing a connection 1 of 12.
Now look, it tells it tells you the subheading levels.
4.2 supported screen readers 2 of 12 level 2. 4.3 connecting to a screen reader collapsed 3 of 12 level 2.
Oh, okay. Now we've got... This is where I would learn about NVDA. So I opened that with a right arrow.
4.3.1 connecting to PC via USB.
Okay. And that is important with this Braille display because there can be some driver shenanigans.
4.3.2 connecting to PC via Bluetooth serial. 4.3.3 using the Q Braille with JAWS for Windows.
Okay.
4.3.4 using Q Braille as a Braille display with NVDA.
There we go. And if I just press enter here...
Q Braille-XL-user-manual-rev-191220.
I can press control.
Use the following instructions to set up the Q Braille for use as a Braille. Display with the free NVDA screen reader from NV Access.
There we go. It brought me right to that section of the document. So that particular way of navigating, it works if you kind of know what you're doing with it, and you don't need it to give you a lot of hints and say, expanded, collapsed whenever you move through the tree. Like, go ahead.
I think it's pretty powerful.
It is.
Let me actually the screen share so I can.
Without echoing all over, yeah.
There we go. I think it's a pretty powerful feature, and a couple of things I like about it is it's not just relegated to screen readers, that anyone can use this to kind of get an outline of your document or something like that. But even for screen readers, that this works across different screen readers. Although even though JAWS has its issues with LibreOffice, it's still like this is not a screen reader specific thing.
Yeah.
And it's similar to what NVDA does with its elements list.
Yeah.
In Word or something like that, when you pull up the elements list. And I think that's more powerful than simply going heading by heading by heading.
Oh, it is.
And so yeah, I actually think it's pretty cool, and also it lets you jump by a lot more elements than like the NVDA elements list,
right,
or something like that, which is also, I think, a pretty cool feature of it. And it seems to be pretty responsive, and it just jumps you right where you need to go, and
yeah,
because that manual is not a small manual. So
no, that's big. That's absolutely big. But if you're used to browse mode, or if you want to just be like, okay, let me move to the next heading, or, okay, let me move to the next link, like, it's going to take a little longer to do that. But you're right, it is more powerful, and I do like it, especially, for comments. Like, I don't think comments are in the NVDA elements list.
Yeah.
So I do like that navigator a lot. It's just, you have to practice with it a little, in my experience. But so yeah. But so yeah, lack of a browse mode. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So in Word, by the way, that we have links, headings, annotations, charts, and errors, and that's kind of what you got in Word.
Okay.
So
you're getting a little choppy.
Oh, good.
So.
All right.
There we go.
Unmuted.
All right. Cool. So yeah, lack of a browse mode is definitely a drawback, a pretty serious one in my view, and from what I've seen from the NVDA developers on their mailing list, it doesn't seem like there are any plans to fix it, just because it would involve a lot of extra work. And so they basically said, if anyone in the community wants to tackle this, feel free. But I find that navigator can be a good enough workaround and is, like Nimer said, powerful in other ways. So, what if you need to format text? What if you need to change the font or bold or center? The traditional way of doing it in Microsoft Word and most other word processors is you highlight the thing.
Navigator dialog. Navigator option pane. Active window combo box 1 of 2.
Get out of here. Close.
Q Braille-XL. Lay with the free NVDA screen. 1 right paren. Lay with the. Use the following instructions to set up the Q Braille for use as a Braille DISP.
Oh, I made a
Lay
line
with
there.
the free
Okay.
NVDA screen reader from NV Access.
Let's fix that.
Tab. Tab. B. Use the following instruction. Line right brace play with the free NVDA screen.
Okay, that's a Braille display issue. I was writing in Unified English. I thought I was in Unified English Braille, and I'm in Computer Braille here, and that's one of the most frustrating things with this Braille display. But anyways, so this particular way of formatting that is most common in most screen readers and most word processors, you can do that with LibreOffice. You can highlight a word. You can definitely use the keystrokes that you're mostly familiar with, Control B to bold, etc. And
use the follow line right brace play with the free NVDA screen
sorry,
reader
this is
from
really
NVSS.
bugging me that I
Y A L B right line question. Left brace S I D D I F B L A Y space.
There we go. I fixed it, and I can think. Cool.
Space.
All right. So you can absolutely use those. Like, let me highlight this word display.
Display selected.
And I can do Control E to center that word. And to show that it's centered, I will press Insert F.
Arial 14 PT black on white baseline.
Oh, and it doesn't say.
Use
Okay.
display with the I T I W space W. File sub
Get out of
Q
here.
Braille XL space D. Display selected.
I'll do Control B to bold it. So that's another thing I have noticed is NVDA won't always tell you all of the formatting information because I did in fact center that.
Y space A L B.
But it should say that it bolded.
Arial 14 PT black on white bold baseline.
There we go.
Use display with the S B I D.
And let me just make sure. I'll try this one more time.
Display selected.
Then I'll do Control E to center.
Arial 14 PT black on white baseline.
Okay. Well, that unbolded it. So, anyways, so that is you can format that way, and NVDA won't always tell you all of the changes or won't always tell you the font size, I've noticed. But there is actually another more powerful way to format with LibreOffice that takes some learning, but that gives you a lot more automation, and you don't really have to worry as much as you do in Microsoft Word with manually adjusting font sizes and indents and making sure your headers and footers are lined up just right each time. LibreOffice has something called styles. And what those styles are like mini templates or mini patterns for a certain paragraph. And not just paragraphs, but paragraphs are the main ones. So I will open up, they call it the styles pane with F11.
Styles option pane. Style list tree view. Default paragraph style expanded 1 of 2 level 1.
Okay, so you've got default paragraph style.
Addressee. Caption. Caption collapsed.
All right, so that tells you there's, many caption styles.
Complementary close.
Complementary close. Now that is important because that can close. Once you change the style, this little pane will still be open. And then every time you move your cursor back to that text that you changed the style for, this pane pops up again and it gets in your way. So you can close here, or there's also a keystroke you can use to get that pane out of the way if it bugs you later.
Contents 1. Contents 2.
Contents 1, Contents 2.
Contents 3.
And so these are all different ways you can format a block of text.
Contents 4. Contents 5.
And you can navigate this list with first letter navigation. So like
B. D. Date.
D, date.
H. Document map. H. Header collapsed.
There's lots of different headers.
Header and footer.
Header
Heading
and
collapsed.
footer, headings. But most of the time, you want to stick with that default that was there at the top, because that is going to be, your normal size 12-point font. And all you have to do is have your cursor at any point in a paragraph and select one of these styles, and then it changes it for the whole paragraph. And it's a little too much to go like super, super deep into here, but you can set it up so you can make new styles so that every time you press Control Enter and make a new page, it automatically knows that the first thing you're going to type is going to be a header. And so it'll automatically center the first thing you type. And then you press Enter, and then it goes back to normal text. So you can set all of that up. But that is...
Heading 1 collapsed.
So that's LibreOffice's sort of preferred way of formatting text. And it takes a learning curve. I'm still only like a few days into it, so I'm just kind of like realizing how potentially powerful this is. And this list does seem to be accessible. Now there is also... Let me get out of here.
Close sidebar deck toolbar. Close sidebar deck button. Space. Menu button collapsed. Properties toolbar. Properties button.
Now I can press Control F5 and that should get rid of this. Except, what just happened?
StreamYard QBraille-XL-user. Use the display with the free NVDA screen reader from NV Access.
Okay. So it closed it, but then it didn't really respond, and I couldn't move around my text without alt-tabbing and then moving back in.
Use the following instructions to set up the QBraille for use as a braille.
And then you can make headings here. So like, let's say I wanted to...
Heading level 3 4.3.4 using QBraille as a braille display with NVDA.
Oh, well, I will make a new document here to show this. And I'll press Alt-F.
File submenu F. New submenu N. Text document T. Spreadsheet S. Text document T.
All right, and so you have file, insert, all of those menus here.
Find toolbar. Navigator dialog. Navigator option pane. Active window.
Okay, get out of here.
H. E. F. O.
Is there any reason, Nimer, that my navigator's not closing when I press Control F5 or Escape? Because it definitely...
I'm not sure it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it has for me too in the past. Let's see. That if I'll go into my View menu and press Alt-V.
View submenu. Web radio menu item selected W. N. Untitled 1-LibreOffice. Hello.
There we go. So you can... I'll actually show you this view menu here, just to show you, because this is always a way, if LibreOffice has a random thing open that won't close, you can press Alt-V.
View submenu V. Normal radio menu item selected checked N.
So that tells you the normal view's active.
User interface. Toolbar submenu T. Status bar check B. Ruler submenu R.
All right.
Scroll bar sub. Grid and help. Formatting. Text boundaries checked F. Formatting marks Control plus F10 checked N.
Escape just closes it.
Yeah. No, it should, but it didn't. So, and if it doesn't, I press this I went into this view menu and I pressed N, and then that unchecked the navigator thing in this. So that is always a way, if all else fails, to close one of these, toolbars. You can go into the view menu and close it here. And that does seem to be necessary for me a little more than it would in Word.
Untitled 1 Libre Office
I
document
pressed
document
escape.
edit. Hello. Tab. H.
So let me turn this hello into a heading. I will select hello.
Hello selected.
And you do have keyboard shortcuts for Control 1 through Control 5 for heading levels. So I will do Control 1.
Hello. Hello unselected. Hello.
Come on.
Blank. Tab. 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 Blank. Blank. Hello. Hello. Tab. Tab.
What is
tab.
going on here?
Oh.
And I actually probably don't even need to select this, so I'll just press Control 1.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello selected.
Hello, unselected.
Yeah.
Hello unselected.
Ha! So, typically that keystroke works. So let me try again. Control 1.
Hello. Hello.
I think I'm having Braille display issues. Let's try this.
Someone wants to know.
Oh, that's why.
Tab. Oh.
Someone wants to know which voices we have on our computers. I tend to use eSpeak. It seems like Kirt is using narrator voice.
I am,
Sam, or it's not Sam, David.
David.
But by default on a computer, you will have David, you will have Anna, and you will have a higher pitched version of David called Mark. And but you can always install more in the settings. And you can, and by installing more, they're actually more like languages. Although some of the Canadian ones sound like regular American English anyway. There's a number of additional ones you can install that are Microsoft voices. Otherwise, you can pay for Eloquence or Acapella or Vocalizer, or get them from your favorite, crack psych. I don't recommend it, but
Yeah,
I know people do that. So
it's probably there, yeah. So I did figure out what was going on, and that was indeed a Braille display issue. This particular Braille display has computer Braille and unified English Braille, and you have to be in the right one to use things right. So let's try this again. I will press Control 1.
Hello. Hello. Tab.
are we struggling?
Yeah, and it was definitely
Hello.
working before.
Oh no!
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Heading level 1.
Oh,
Heading level 1. Hello.
and look! Once I pressed Enter, it changed it to the heading. So
Heading level 1. Hello.
now let's go underneath that and do.
Comp T H A T
Let's move back to Unified English Braille.
comma
This
S,
is
space,
a level
space
2
8
heading.
space 8. Heading level 1. Heading level 1. Hello. Heading level 1. Heading level 1. This is AA level 8 heading.
Oh, that should not have done that. Okay.
Heading level 1. This is AA level 8 heading. V
Let's do that
space
again.
S
You're not making me want to get one of these displays.
No, I.
T blank.
Yeah, I'm definitely normally better at it than now, but
In fact, you're convincing me how much they're terrible.
Comma. Comma. S. Space. Space. Dot. This is body text.
there we go. So I pressed Control 0, and that turned it into body text. And now I can press Control 2. And that should make it a level 2 heading. Yeah, that is definitely learning curve with this Braille display on a Windows computer. I'm figuring out its little quirks here. Control 2.
Heading level 1 hello. Heading level 2 this is body text.
But it's not. This is level 2. But I just changed it to body. Okay. And so those headings, you can do that 1 through 5, like I said. You know, it allows you to insert. I'll just go through the insert menu.
Insert submenu I. More break submenu B. Page break control plus enter P.
There's that page break.
Signature line. Envelope. Header and footer submenu A. Field submenu D. Page number P. Table of contents and index submenu X. Footnote and endnotes. Horizontal line not checked L. Formatting mark submenu G.
Okay. Yeah, so you've definitely got, I would say the options here are on par with Word.
Special character. Cross-dash reference. Bookmark. Hyperlink. Control plus K not checked H.
There we go.
Untitled 1-Libreoffice document editable. Blank.
So you definitely have, like, you have, I would say, even more customizability than Word. But, you know, even though a lot of the issues I was having here were just figuring out this Braille display, you know, there are, you know, there's not as much screen reader support as you would get in something like Microsoft Word, or even Google Docs. But everything you need to do does work. In my experience, you just kind of need to be willing to put in a little more time. But it is free. And then once you know how to do everything, you know, it should be a little bit better there. But
Blank.
I'm trying to think. Do we have any comments or questions?
Q Braille dash.
Looks like. No, it doesn't look like it. Nope, the last thing was about the voices, it seems like.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, we do. Does the Acapella engine have any kid voices? I think it does. I have no idea. I'm guessing it probably does. A lot of them do. Do you know, Kirt?
I don't. I've never seen it. I've had let's see. I had Acapella on the Braille Note Touch, but I don't recall seeing any kid voices on there. But I mean, I'm sure there's probably. I would imagine there are some you can buy, or.
Yeah, I would think they've got some.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Either Acapella or Vocalizer. One of them has some kiddie voices. I don't remember which one, but one of them does for sure. One of the things I want to demonstrate with LibreOffice,
Yeah.
is
Hello. Are you struggling now?
no.
Your internet's struggling.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Am I cutting out?
You are.
Uh-oh. No, that's not good.
It seems to be a little better. You were just a bit choppy for a minute there.
Austin, how can you get Acapella on NFB Newsline? Why don't you call them and tell them to add it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the voice of NFB Newsline News, I think they use Neo Speech. They've got like
Yeah, I
Paul
think
and
so.
Kate on the phone, so yeah.
So one of the things I want to demonstrate is, well, a couple of things. This LibreOffice is great for people who are not used to the ribbons because of the menu bars that Kirt was demonstrating.
Yeah.
And some of the things are similar to how they used to be done in Word. And so I'll demonstrate that with something like spell check, although I'm also going to demonstrate why LibreOffice still has its issues. And then I want to look at the accessibility section because I think that might interest some people, especially low vision people maybe.
Yeah.
So let me do a screen share. We'll kick Kurt's out.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
And I want to share my screen. And let's see, hopefully Kirt will have to let me know if I start choppy.
I will.
Share system audio. There we go. Let's change my speech rate. I should probably change to. Oh, you guys don't like. You guys don't like
nobody.
e-speak. Fine. Let's do Windows.
StreamYard desktop content.
There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go back to
StreamYard Untitled 1 LibreOffice Writer. Untitled 1 LibreOffice document.
There we go. So I have a line here.
This is Nimer Jaber.
It doesn't like my name. It thinks my name is a misspelling.
This is spelling error Nimer.
As you can tell, it's I have spelling errors turned on in NVDA, and it will indicate that. And it does not like my name.
This
So I'm going to hit F7, and we're about to see both the good and bad of spell check in LibreOffice.
spelling English USA. Dialog checks the document or the current selection for spelling errors. If a grammar checking extension is installed, the dialog also checks for grammar errors. Text language, combo box half checked specifies the language to use to check the spelling. 16 of 43, correct button replaces the unknown word with the current suggestion. If you changed more than just the misspelled word, the entire sentence is replaced. R.
I intentionally had it read out that entire amount because none of that tells you what you should be doing right now, or which word is misspelled, or literally anything else to do with the misspelling. You are on a correct button, and it does have hotkeys, which actually Office kind of for a while got rid of their hotkeys. So you can like in old Word, you were able to do certain hotkeys to correct a word or ignore a word, etc. You have these here in LibreOffice.
Correct button focused replaces the unknown word with the current suggestion. If you changed more than just the misspelled word, the entire sentence is replaced. R.
So that one is R, for example. So let's just tab around this dialog and see what there is to see.
Correct all button replaces all occurrences of the unknown word with the current suggestion. L. Add to autocorrect button adds the current combination of the incorrect word and the replacement word to the autocorrect replacement table. A. Check grammar checkbox checked enable help button H. Options button open close button C. Text language, combo box English, USA. Paragraph multi-line editable. This is Nimer Jaber. Ignore once button skips the unknown word and continues with the spell check. Ignore all buttons. Add to dictionary button adds the suggestions list lists suggested words to replace the misspelled word. Select the word that you want to use, and then click correct or correct all. Timer 1 of 8 level 1.
Okay. We have absolutely no way in this dialogue of determining which word is misspelled. I mean, I could probably use cursor review or mouse review commands to read this entire dialogue and probably figure out which word is misspelled.
No pre timer not select.
Let's actually see if I can do that.
Add to ignore toolbar. not in dictionary. Text language, not no objects, text, no previous, not in
Not in
toolbar.
dictionary. Let's see. Let's go to the toolbar.
Paste button, special character button, no next, toolbar.
No, so I really have no way of determining what is misspelled in this dialogue. And that's a problem. Now, the dialogue is really nicely done. It's just like the old Office was, and you have hotkeys, and you can easily correct or correct all. And, certainly you could probably determine what the misspelled word was based on the suggestions that it's giving you. It gives me a suggestion of nicer, so I know that actually Nimer is probably the misspelled word. But, I mean, if you're, checking a big document, you don't have time to fiddle around with misspelled words and figure out which word is misspelled and all that. Like, that's just, it's painful, and I wish that they would fix that. But I wanted to show this as a good and a bad of LibreOffice because the dialogue is really nice, and the fact that there are hotkeys means that you can easily add words to the dictionary or ignore them or whatever.
Correct,
which is I really like a lot.
Suggestions, add to dictionary button. Add to dictionary button adds the unknown word to a user-defined dictionary. D. Correct button, correct all. Add
So
to
let's just
check grammar, help option, close text, close button,
close that
untitled
out,
one.
and then we'll go into the next thing that I wanted to show, which is accessibility options. So to do this, we're going to go under Tools.
Tools submenu T. Spelling.
Alt-T to go to Tools. And we're going to go to Options, which is, I'll just hit up arrow, otherwise it should be O.
Options. Alt plus F12 O.
Oh, Alt F12, okay. So we're going to hit Enter.
Options Internet Media Wiki Dialog.
And now I'm going to go to the Accessibility section, which is at the bottom.
Cancel but Options Internet. Combo box 2 of 3. Internet expanded 8 of 8. Proxy. Charts Libre language set load
Towards the
slash
bottom
Libre
anyway.
load slash save general options paths combo security personal.
All right, let's see. Accessibility. See, these options
Application.
don't always read very well.
Accessibility.
There we go. Accessibility. All right, so let's hit Tab.
Option pane sets options that make LibreOffice programs more accessible for users with reduced sight, limited dexterity, or other
Reduced
disabilities.
sight, huh?
Miscellaneous options.
if I have
Option
no sight?
pane. Support assistive technology tools. Program restart required. Checkbox check.
Okay, so if your screen reader isn't working or magnifier isn't working, this is a good place to go and check and see. It should auto-detect that you're running something and turn this on, but if it does not, you want to check this box. Let's hit Tab again.
Use text selection cursor in read-only text documents. Checkbox not checked displays cursor in read-only documents. X.
So this is whether or not you want a text selection cursor in read-only documents.
Allow use automatic
That's up to you.
Allow
I
use
just tabbed
text
a bunch of
selection
times.
cursor.
There we
Allow
go.
animated images. Checkbox checked.
For animated images, checked or unchecked. Some people have issues with the animations.
Allow animated text. Checkbox checked. Options for high contrast appearance. Option pane. Automatically detect high contrast mode of operating system. Checkbox not checked switches LibreOffice into high contrast mode when the system background color is very dark. D.
So it tries to detect whether or not you want high contrast based off your background color, and it will change to a higher contrast mode. In LibreOffice, this could be good for some of you.
Use automatic font color for screen display. Checkbox not checked.
So you can have automatic font color so that you don't end up with some color that you can't read.
Use system
or
colors for
see.
page previews. Checkbox checked applies the high contrast settings of the operating system to page previews. U. Help button 8.
So there's a number of options in here for accessibility that might help if you have low vision particularly.
Reset button. Apply button. OK. Can't.
And then once you're done, you just
OK.
hit OK.
Untitled 1.
There we go. So there's that. And then I wanted just to demonstrate there's the save dialog, the fact that there is no backstage view garbage crap. So let's hit Control S.
Save as dialog.
By the way, I know that you can turn this off in Office.
Save as type.
But this is the old save as dialog that you're used to.
Items view, custom office, tree view, command mod, tree view.
With the
This
tree
PC
and everything.
collapsed one of command mod, search, address, up, band tool, cancel save button, alt plus S.
So
Cancel.
just the regular save as dialog box, which is excellent.
Toolbar, encrypt with
When
GPG.
you do save so you can also choose to encrypt. There's a few extra options, but when you do save, you want to make sure that you take a look at the file type.
Save with password. Automatic file name extension checkbox checked. Alt. Save as type. Combo box ODF text document.
Because the default is an ODF, which nothing else can read. Like a lot of products can't really read this ODF format. So you want to look at this format and change this. There's a lot of other formats that you could choose from. So let's see here. We have
save as type, flat ODF text, flat XML ODF text document, unified office format text, star.uot. Word 2007 to 365, star.docs.
So this is a .docx.
Word 2007 to 365 template, star.dots. Word 2003 XML, star.xml. Word 97 to 2003, star.doc. Word 97 to 2003 template, star.dot. Docbook, star.x. HTML document, writer, star.html. Rich text, star.rtf. Text, star.text. Text choose encoding, star.text. Office open XML text. Word 2007 to 365 VBA, star.docm.
All right. Most of the time, you probably want to change this to .docx or .rtf is my recommendation, unless you know that you're just going to be opening and accessing this in LibreOffice, and everyone else will be opening and accessing this in LibreOffice. You're better off changing this to a .docx or a .rtf. Let's see. I don't think I can really think of anything else. This app is pretty cool. It's worth having a play around with it, and I think it's about time that we get to our rant.
Yeah.
Save.
So
StreamYard document.
Let's stop my
Clickable,
screen share.
clickable button, mute
Really?
microphone, clickable button,
sorry,
turn
sorry.
on camera, clickable unmute screen audio button.
Oh, you muted my screen audio. Very good.
Add to
Oh,
stream
whoa, whoops.
button. Clickable more option. Clickable unmute screen.
Oh, no, that was
clickable
you.
mute mic.
Oh, that was your
yeah,
voice?
that was
layout
mine.
Clickable.
Well, where's mine?
Find. Button stop.
All right.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why yours just disappeared.
I don't know. All right.
So did you end mine?
I think yours is just muted, maybe? I don't know.
Because I
removed it
did
from
want
the
to
stream.
Okay, because I did figure out my issue with this Braille display.
Okay, so I just added you back.
Okay. All right. Just really quick. So my issue with it was I wasn't pressing the control and hotkey long enough. So, like,
Heading level 1.
I can just very quickly, I will write like, this is
S. Space. Space.
level
Space.
1.
Heading level 1. This is level 1.
Okay. Now I'll go down arrow. Or press enter a couple times.
Space. Blank. Level 2.
Now level 2, this isn't level 2 yet. So one thing, because I had changed that top line to level 1, it automatically remembered that that was level 1 heading no matter what else I wrote. But so I don't know if you see
Blank. Level 2.
level 2, this does not have a level 2 heading yet. I just press Control 2.
Blank. Heading level 2. Level 2.
There we go. And that works all the way until level 5. And there is also, it's kind of an annoying workaround, but if you want to see if something is centered, you can go into the Format menu with Alt-O.
Format submenu. Bold Control plus B check B.
Just because it didn't show this
Italic
earlier.
Control plus I not check I.
And my kind of jittery, nervous brain forgot that this is something you can
Single
do.
underline, double, strike through, overline, superscript, subscript, shadow, outline font, increase size, control, decrease size, uppercase U.
Oh, I passed it. Okay.
Strike, double under, single, italic, bold, small capital, T ogle C, capitalize, sentence case S.
I'm looking for the text menu
Cycle case,
here.
lowercase, uppercase U, decrease size control plus left bracket E, text
wait, hold
submenu
up.
X.
There we go.
Bold control plus text submenu X, group submenu, spacing submenu S, align text submenu.
Oh, there we go. There we go. That's the right menu. I want align text.
Left control plus L radio menu item selected checked L.
All right, so it says checked. So if you have your cursor on something and you want to see what alignment it is, you can go into this menu and see if the alignment that you've changed it to is checked. Otherwise, it won't say, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, I just wanted to show you those things just to show that those issues I was having a second ago with the headings you would not have if you were using a normal Braille, a normal keyboard. That was just down to, kind of quirks of me having a new Braille display that I'm still kind of figuring out on Windows land. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to do with that. We should probably move on.
Align text submenu T. StreamYard desktop content clickable graphic.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
So, by the way, we keep getting a lot of spammers today, so I'm not sure why we're getting a lot of spammers today, but this is probably the third person I've blocked already today. So whoever invited the spammers, thank you very much, but I promise the comments won't stay there for long, so I recommend that you just find a new hobby.
Yeah.
So, trolls, spammers, you're not welcome.
Yeah, go bug somebody else.
Carrie says hello. Hello, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
I don't know why your name shows up instead of Live Accessible or Live Accessible or whatever it is. That's very strange. I like Live Accessible. But Carrie's cool too. Hello, Carrie. Glad that you're here.
Good to see you here.
And you came in just in time for the rant. Well, not really a rant.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so I was scrolling through my feed the other day and stumbled into this NFB phrase about this post about basically you can live the life you want. And it kind of finally hit me about why I have problems with that phrase. And I realized the point of the phrase. It's great marketing. It's also intended to be kind of inspirational. 100%. I understand that. But it's also kind of a delusion. It is something that we can aspire to. It is something that we can try to do. It is something that maybe we'll eventually get to. I'm not sure. I doubt it, though. But right now, we aren't there. And as an example, if I had vision, I certainly would not be working with computers, and I 100% would not be at Google, and I 100% would not be doing any of the things that I'm doing, really, or not very many of them. Why do I do them? Well, because I've realized that I'm pretty good at them. I think they're kind of fun. They're fine. They're something for me to do, and it's also what a blind person can do. And I know that some of you are going to get kind of offended by that and a little pissed off by that, and that's fine. But the reality is, I would like to be in the military, and the military isn't going to have a blind guy carrying around an M4 or an M16 or whatever they're using these days. I would like to live in a very rural area, hunt for my own food and just kind of do the whole that whole bit. And I would say that as a blind person, that's just not very realistic. Why do a lot of blind people either have issues finding jobs, finding transportation, or they basically live in a big city or near, transit in some shitty apartment? Why is that? It's because we can't just hop in our cars and go wherever we'd like to go. Of course, there's Ubers and Lyfts, and but they do cost a bit of money, and certainly cost a lot more money than your gas mileage would cost in a car. I don't know if they would cost more than it would be interesting to kind of do this comparison of would it cost more to do the yearly maintenance plus the car's cost over time, the car payment plus the oil and the gas and all that.
Probably depends on how many Ubers you take.
Right, it depends on how many Ubers you take. But the point is, the Ubers and the Lyfts are still very pricey. And you still have to live in a place that even has Uber and Lyft. And a lot of rural areas, they don't have Ubers or Lyfts. Or if they do, it might take a really long time to find a ride. There's a lot of things. I would like to go pick up an appliance at the store. When I walk into a store, I would like to walk up to an appliance and check out its features and buy that appliance because of the features it has, because of how it looks, because of how it operates, not because I'm concerned about accessibility. Not because I have to wonder, am I going to take this home and is it all touch and does it have an app and is that app going to be accessible and do I have to use Ira and do I have to get someone to label it and is it going to have dots on it and can I maybe order some kind of overlay for it? No. I just want to pick up the damn washer, microwave, whatever it is, and operate it. Period. And I want to do it because of its features. I want the washer that will just do the washing and drying for me. And I don't want to have to bother with an app. What happens if my phone is dead? What happens if I just put my phone aside and don't feel like using it? Well, what happens if the app, all of a sudden it updates and becomes inaccessible? Now I can't do my laundry? What? There's all kinds of these things. In the office, it's gotten to be the point where we're actually regressing, and there's a lot of blind people that are having struggles in the office because basic office equipment is inaccessible. Sure, there are copy machines that can talk if you pay a lot of money and get a very specific machine. Sure, you can add bump dots and overlays and whatever else. Of course, you can do those things. But why should you have to do those things? And some of those things aren't actually doable on some machines. Some of them have these, the menus and things that are pretty difficult to actually, if the machine itself doesn't talk, I mean, what, you're going to sit there and have to memorize it, or you're going to have to write out in Braille the different combinations of which dots to press or something? Like, the office equipment is generally becoming less accessible. I would like to walk into a gym and hop on a treadmill or whatever and operate
I've had
that.
this thing. Yep.
And that stuff is inaccessible. I hear Freedom Science Fiction is working on making some of that. They're coming up with some screen reader or something for some kiosks and things like that. But anyway, right now the gym equipment is inaccessible. There's a lot that goes into that. And so living the life I want means that I don't have to deal with these barriers. It means that I don't have to think about which machine I buy, whether or not I can find one with physical knobs or whether or not I can find one that actually, I can put tape on or dots on or uses I can operate it with Alexa or something. I don't have to bother with that. Living the life I want means I could have joined the military or I could have done some different kind of a job. It means that I can go out and sail on a boat independently without having some app, without having somebody looking through a camera, without using Ira, that I can do that kind of thing. But the reality is that I can't. And to me, that's not living the life I want. And I would really like if blindness organizations start coming up, and we as a group, as blind people, start coming up with the solutions and working together to come up with solutions, but still acknowledging where we are, and not playing the I want to get funding game, and saying things that are kind of to me, they are they're not acknowledging the reality of where a person is, and where a person is might not be doing what they want. Now, some of you are doing exactly what you want. Some of you are therapists. Some of you are actually, computer engineers. Some of you are doing exactly what you'd like to be doing, and I'm very happy for you. I think another thing, some people say, well, who the hell does do whatever they want? Like, everyone has some kind of a limitation or a barrier, and that's true. But in that case, people have the opportunity where, in the case of a blindness, we don't really have that. We don't have the access to things. I just think about going to an airport. How many times I gotten off a plane, I don't even request assistance, and there's a wheelchair waiting for me. And when I get off the plane, what I'd like to do is immediately find the bathroom, because I probably have to take a pee, hopefully the men's restroom. I would like to find that, and then I would like to find my way out without having to fuss around, try to read signs using some app, or find somebody to ask for directions or all that. But if I could see, I could easily see the sign. I could see the arrows. I could see which way the exit was. Someone's going to tell me sighted people get lost. Sighted people ask for help. Yeah, they sure as hell do, but they have the option to do it, and they also have all the tools around them to not do it. Sighted people can walk up into a store and find the food that they want and know exactly what the different brands are, and have the opportunity to read the directions and the information, the nutritional facts, all that, make very informed decisions as to what they have and what they buy. And as blind people, what are you going to do? Walk into a store and pull out your phone and use Ira and point it at literally every item on the goddamn shelf? Or are you going to sit there with a store person and say, hey, can you please read me all these items? And they're going to take like 2 or 3 hours out of their day. Or maybe you're going to find a family member or a volunteer. But guess what? That all relies on human beings. And that's not you just walking in for what could be a 5 or a 10-minute shopping trip. And then there's the trouble of, well, you have to get it home. You can't just walk out and pop the stuff in your car and take it home. So I'm not living the life that I want. I've accepted the realities of life. I know that I can accomplish a lot. I have accomplished a lot. I work at Google. I'm very happy with what I've accomplished. I'm a very imperfect human being, and there's a lot more I could accomplish, but I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm very adjusted in my blindness. I'm very confident in my blindness. I travel a lot. I use both canes and dogs, but I don't live the life I want, and I will never be living the life that I want. And that's the reality of being blind. So I think that instead of telling me I could live the life I want, I think NFB should be helping to knock down the barriers, which they do to some extent, some things greater than others, but they should also be helping me face that reality that I can't actually do what I want, and helping me figure out the alternatives instead of just saying, oh, figure it out. You'll be fine. You can do whatever you want. It'll be fine. Because that isn't reality. Now, I'm done babbling. Hopefully Kirt has some good response to a babble to that. But let's see what's in the comments. I don't know if anyone agrees or disagrees. Let's see what's in the comments.
Yeah, I do have some thoughts, but do you want to tell us how you really feel, Nimer?
Carrie, how would you fix it? I would honestly, I would get rid of NFB, and I would get rid of ACB, and I would try to unify blind people around the vision of trying to, or maybe not get rid of them, but I would certainly figure out a way to come up with a more functional entity that was a lot less focused on funding, a lot less focused on making its membership happy by giving them increases in social security and public benefits and everything like that. Like if the goal that NFB says the goal is we can do whatever we want, live the life we want, be independent, all that stuff, then we have to actually fight for that reality to make that happen. And NFB seems to kind of try to wear both shoes on their hands. And I don't know if that's a good enough phrase, but I don't even know. What they tend to do is they tend to kind of straddle the line of, yeah, we're going to do these things, but we're also going to do everything we can to make our members happy. So make our members happy means fighting for the increase in, like blind people get a special, even more money than someone who has cerebral palsy that is in a wheelchair. They get more money out of the government than any other disability, which is silly to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And NFB fights for that. On the other hand, NFB straddles the line because they fight a lot for Braille, getting more access to Braille and for access to better improvements to the Ubers and the Lyfts as it comes to guide dogs. And I mean, there's a lot of things that NFB has done. So they straddle this line, but I don't think it's worth straddling that line. And fixing it means facing the realities that we have these limitations, we have these things that we can't actually live the lives we want. But let's try to make the improvements and not focus so much on to me, what I think silly things like the Netflixes or whatever, and not fight things like accessible currency or audible pedestrian signals, and work to generally make improvements. And I see NFB straddling that line where sometimes it kind of go one way and sometimes it kind of go the other way. And by the way, I don't think ACB is any better.
Yeah.
But right now, ACB doesn't have the tagline of "Live the life you want." So.
Yep, and that's why they struggle with funding, and that's why they struggle getting anything done.
Carrie
partially.
wants to. Oh! I'm sorry, Carrie. Things that are not accessible.
Yeah.
Well, part of that might be that we need some mandates. Because we have mandates around building accessibility. And companies can kind of pick and choose whether or not to make things accessible in reality and how much resources to apply to it when it comes to appliances, office equipment, that kind of thing. And I'm not really huge on government mandates. I'm not going to get in that much into politics. I'm not really big on that, but I think that is exactly what we need. We need a modification to ADA that any product, any service that a company puts out that is made for public use has to be designed with accessibility features and has to have, has to be tested and designed with accessibility. But the hard part is, what is accessibility and how do you design it and how do you innovate when it's some new product that has never had accessibility? And, there's a number of barriers to that, but I think it's doable. I think we need that mandate, just like we have curb cuts, just like we have the elevators and the Braille on the elevators and that kind of thing for newer things, at least. Yeah. I think we should be able to mandate that for public stuff and for employee for the company facing side too, because that's another.
Yeah, that's another.
Sometimes
thing.
We have the public side is relatively accessible, but when you actually try to do the job, the work side of it, on the internal side, that stuff's completely inaccessible. A lot of therapists struggle with this with their what do they call those human resources, or no, their systems for recording notes, and there's some name for them. Their systems, whatever they're. Anyway, they struggle with that. People struggle with the IT side with the internal tools and packages and things like that. There's even call centers, why aren't blind people working at more call centers? Because tech that they're using is inaccessible. Why don't blind people work at 911 dispatch? Because the mapping tools that they're using are completely inaccessible now. The computer-aided dispatch. It's inaccessible. Whereas it used to be, with a radio, you used to be able to do that job with a radio. And I understand why it's not done that way now, but it also means that we've lost access to potential jobs that blind people could do. So that's where I think we probably need some government mandates and just general more education to companies. And who knows, maybe a few more lawsuits. But not frivolous ones. I think the Domino's one was an example of a very frivolous one.
All right.
But anyway.
Well. Yeah, I can't think of a slogan from any group anywhere that is technically accurate. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Read my lips, no more taxes. Make America great again. Hope and change.
Oh, God, we got Trump.
Yeah, and Obama. I'm an equal opportunity offender, whatever.
Oh,
but
okay. All right.
but my point is, anyone who uses a slogan is by definition oversimplifying and by definition lying to get attention. Like, you can't do that if you can't. Can someone give me an example of like a little pithy tagline like this that is technically accurate? I mean, I guess there's one from the church I grew up in that was family. Isn't it about time? But that's the only little like pithy branding thing I can think of. And even that, like, isn't family more than just time? So my whole point is, like, I don't disagree with any of the particulars you said, any of the examples of the ways that we as blind people cannot live the lives we want. I don't. And talking with, I have friends who are fairly high level in the NFB. I used to be decently involved. And I still kind of am, but talking with people I know, they would agree, and they would say, yeah, that's why we have this organization. That's why we went to Washington seminar and have been trying to do this technology Bill of Rights for years to mandate that kiosks talk, and to mandate that all appliances have some accessible way to use them. And, say what you will about the effectiveness of that, but I did go to Washington seminar a couple times where that was indeed some of the legislation they were trying to push. So yes, they do have to straddle the line, and I don't like it. They do have to straddle the line between, having some way of like a little thing you can put on a grant application or, say in a little, pitch you're making to like a Lions Club or whatever to do like, because you need money. And as you said, the ACB doesn't have this kind of tagline. I think that's a big part of why they're not as good at advocacy, because they, like, a lot of getting money is these stupid little slogans that people remember. And so, yeah, I don't like it. And I don't even think it accurately represents, like, if you really want to delve deep into quote-unquote NFB philosophy, I remember the old Jernigan speech that gets quoted all the time of, with proper training and opportunity, the average blind person can do the average job and do it just as well as the average sighted person. And, with proper training and opportunity, blindness can be an inconvenience, be reduced to the level of an inconvenience. I don't know of anyone in our society who training aside, we don't have those opportunities. And so I think the NFB side of it is like, yeah, maybe, I mean, is there a better way to say that slogan? Because I think their side would be like, that's why we're working here, is so that we can live the life we want. So I hear what you're saying, And I have my issues with the NFB. I also really love the NFB. You know, I have very complicated feelings, but I kind of can't blame them. Like, can someone think of a better little branding slogan like this that is actually true? You know, is it like, what are you going to say? You can kind of live a good life if you're blind, or you can live a life that is almost like what you want with limitations. Like, that doesn't roll off the tongue as well. That doesn't make people want to give you money as well. And like, that's kind of just the reality of the world we live in. You know,
But see, the problem I have with it is for blind people or any person. This is now a common thing now and I'm interested to see. We can keep on this for hours, but
okay.
I'm going to just make one point here, and then we'll look at the comments, and then Kirt, you can make a point, and then
Sure.
we'll finish up here, and you guys can comment and let us know what your thoughts are. But my comment on that is people are feeling marginalized by a lot of things in the world, and there's discussions of racism and all kinds of things, and just generally people not understanding one another and kind of being dismissive of the experience that other people live and that kind of thing. What I see that slogan doing is more harm and kind of dismissing the life that maybe some of their members, but also other blind people live. I see that's dismissive of that. Why? Because it's how does that make someone feel? Like you're telling this big entity saying you can live the life you want. So if someone isn't living the life they want, they're not able to live the life they want, does that mean that they're somehow defective compared to all the wonderful blind people that are living the life they want? So I'm not even, I 100% agree that it is a good promotion words, tagline, great, but it doesn't hammer at the reality of where we're at. And I see here a couple of comments, but Carrie here is saying, and I'll let you respond here.
No, you're okay.
Carrie is saying here, there's some other comments I'll get to after Kirt responds, but she says maybe they're working to making that slogan come true. I'm not sure. I hope that they are, but I also have seen a lot of things lately. I've seen a lot more inaccessible appliances. I've also seen the struggles that guide dog users face going to airports. The fact that you have to submit this paperwork and that whole thing got through. And there's a lot of things that I think NFB has not been as vocal about as they could have been, or as pushy about. And there's a lot of areas that we have definitely regressed in accessibility, and we continue to regress in accessibility, and it makes it harder for people to have jobs, to work jobs, keep jobs, harder for people to go to school. In some ways we're getting better accessibility. We're kind of doing the whole dance. We're moving forward, taking a couple steps forward, but we're also going backwards.
Yeah.
And doing the simplest thing has become a lot more difficult these days. Back in the old days, you get an oven and the thing had a knob. And that's not the case anymore for a lot of ovens. You get a washing machine and the thing had knobs. That just isn't, that's not how they work these days. And I have yet to see a talking washing machine. Have you?
No, I haven't.
I've yet to see one, or a braille one, or any, these are the simplest things. If a blind person has trouble doing their laundry, for God's sakes, how are we going to hire them to do any kind of a job? And that is why I think, I just wonder what the NFB is doing. You're going around suing Domino's because someone can't order a pizza. By the way, I never thought the thing had serious issues. I thought it was doable.
No, I mean, so did I.
But even if it was inaccessible, you can call them up and order on the phone. There's an alternative way of doing it. And yes, should they be accessible? Of course they should be. I'm not going to say they shouldn't be. But man, out of all the things in the world that we could be fighting for, we're going for dominoes?
Yeah, and I think it is a little unfortunate there because I do.
Or audio description? That's another big one. We're fighting so we can get audio description for our movies? Like,
but that's part of people.
I would love to see audio description on movies, but I would also love to be able to do my goddamn laundry.
You can't have it both ways, though, Nimer. Like, if part of people being able to live the life they want is like enjoying the same kind of entertainment that everyone else does for some people.
I absolutely think we should. I 100% think we need to have audible description. I 100% think we need to have accessible dominoes. But it seems to me like we're kind of lacking that prioritization.
So
how do we do the basic things if we can't, you know what I mean?
So I think it's unfortunate that a lot of what gets blown up in press releases, and this is actually a criticism I have of the NFB, is they don't do the best job of highlighting the things that they do well. You know, I know I remember that they were, you know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember they sent out notices that they were like, we have serious concerns about Southwest and Delta, and I think they were starting to, you know, take legal action against an airline, and I don't know where that went. And that's the kind of thing, I agree, they should be pushing that kind of stuff more. But I think there are things, you know, they go to Washington Seminar, and I went with them, and one of the laws that we were trying to push was, let's make sure that ovens, washing machines, kiosks have some kind of way that we can use them and not just inaccessible touchscreens. Like, that is a law that they were trying to push that I hope they still try to push. You know, but that doesn't get the coverage. That doesn't get the you know, that doesn't spread like wildfire in the blind community of, oh, like, this is a frivolous lawsuit. So I think, and that's...
So if it's not getting the coverage, then how does it ever hope to pass? If we don't have every blind person reaching out to Congress about it, then how does it ever pass?
I mean, it goes...
Or is NFB not that serious about getting it passed?
I mean, they send it to all the people. It's definitely going out on all their emails, call the congressman about these issues, but it doesn't... You know, blind people are more interested in talking about, oh, they're suing Domino's. You know? And like,
But they're not suing a washing machine vendor. They haven't sued General Electric. They haven't sued Samsung. They haven't sued any of these other companies.
Yeah, and perhaps
they are literally suing Domino's.
But they're also literally working on legislation that's addressing the very stuff you're talking about.
Okay, let's do it. Let's work on that legislation. But in the meantime, they're not going after any of these companies. And they kind of pick and choose which ones they go after, right? So if a company gives them dollars and money, they're not going after that company.
Or a lot of times...
Let's think about Google. How long has Google had issues with Android?
Yeah.
Or with any of their services? And yet, how many resolutions have they come out against, out of all companies, Apple?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some against Google. Well, I think part of that is because more of the people in the NFB's leadership, which is where most of the decisions are made, are dealing with Apple. And so I do think...
But any member can bring a resolution to the floor.
Oh, any member can bring a resolution to the floor, but that's not how most resolutions happen. It's 99% of the time, it's what goes through the community or the committees. So, yeah, sure, any member can bring a resolution to the floor, but also, theoretically, anyone can testify before Congress, right? Like...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Google generally goes and gives them a lot of money.
Sure.
The NFB, lots and lots of money. Apple does not sponsor their conventions. Doesn't that seem a little bit ironic?
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
I don't know. Anyway,
But
let's look
yeah,
at these comments here,
sure.
and I think I'd be very interested to see what thoughts you guys have, and put those in the chats and the comments.
I
And
guess my
tell
point
me,
is
tell me that I'm crazy and that I'm wrong, and tell Kirt that he's crazy or that he's
Yeah.
wrong, and maybe you have a third perspective that we haven't thought of, or if you want to come on and have a chat with us, we're open to that too.
Yeah. Like I don't
Let's
think
see.
we know all the work that happens behind
No,
the scenes is
no,
what
I
I'm
don't.
saying.
I don't
like,
presume that either. I don't know all the work, and they might be doing a lot of work behind the scenes. But I do see the public stuff they're doing, and the stuff I see seems to kind of, like I said, they got one hand on their hand, one shoe on their hand, and another one on their foot, and they're kind of trying to straddle that line of. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm curious what everyone's thoughts are on this.
Let's see. Gene says, here in Delaware, we have audible crosswalk signals. That's from what I found out is a federal requirement. I'm not aware of federal requirements that require crosswalk signs that are audible. I'm not aware of that, but that's cool.
Yeah, and I do think that one in particular is an issue that I've seen the NFB change their tune on a lot as
have.
intersections have become more complicated.
They have, and it took them a while, but I'm glad they're finally changing their tune, especially the intersections getting more complex. But, man, there's a lot of blind people that are losing their hearing.
There are.
And some of those have the vibrating buttons, and without that, a deaf-blind person has to what? Wave a sign, hope that someone stops and helps them.
Yeah. It's
I mean, why would you not support that in the first place? I don't understand. Or the accessible currency. We're one of the few countries that doesn't have accessible currencies. A lot of the world has accessible currency, and the NFB is okay with it because we have money readers. I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the other side of the street crossing ones more, in the sense that I've oftentimes gone to cross a street and had people grab me or lose their mind because they're like, oh, the beeper isn't on. You can't go. The beeper isn't on. I'm like, it's my time to go. There's cars, but they're like, there's not a beeper on this. You can't go. Here, I'm gonna make sure you go cross the right way, and like.
Yes, but people are grabbing people anyway.
Yeah,
people
but
have always grabbed people. Oh, you're crossing the street. Oh, no, you don't know what you're doing. Hold on.
Yeah, but part of that is because they think blind people by definition always have to have a beeper to cross a street. And so like
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't even know what the beepers do. So there's also education on that.
Sure. But
it's kind of interesting though.
yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, yeah. And I've definitely had times where if I crossed with the beeper, I would have died.
I mean, you always have to, pay attention to traffic signals. And you have to pay attention to the car. But a sighted person has the light.
Yeah.
They have the light. And a blind person does not have the light.
Yeah.
So that audible signal is the light. I don't understand why that's hard. We could make the same argument. Lights are bad because sometimes if you cross with the light, you could get hit.
I mean, sighted people, we have parallel traffic, though.
But that's not the light. Sighted people could also have parallel traffic, and then we don't need lights. So if you see cars on your left, okay, go.
I mean, parallel traffic is hopefully
Or on your
happening
right,
because
whatever.
the light is there, right? Like,
But they have the light, and walkers have the crosswalk, the light,
Yeah.
and the crosswalk arms or the light,
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah,
blind people
and-
need to have access to the same things.
and I agree with you. And actually,
There's actually signs that tell people when to walk, and they have signs that
Yeah.
actually count down how long you have.
absolutely. And that is actually something I've heard NFB leaders kind of changing their tune on a lot lately that I've been happy about is, let's have us work with people who are designing these so that they're giving us the same information of like the countdown timer and the clock like that.
And that's what I push for is access to information, because the NFB philosophy is right on the money. It's exactly right that if we have access to the same information, we have access to the same opportunities, we have access to the same whatever, everything being equal, we can do whatever we want.
As much
But we
as
don't-
anyone else can.
But we don't, exactly, as much as anyone else can. But we don't have that. If I knew what was going to be in front of that weapon before I fired it, I could I could shoot an M16 and be in the military.
Yeah.
If I could have access to the information at airport key signs, then I could know what gate I was passing, or the fact that there was a Starbucks or there was a men's restroom or anything else. We don't have access to that information. And it's the same with street signs. So when I think about, again, we're fighting, well, because we have alternatives. We have alternatives, but we shouldn't need them. We should just have access to the same things that any other person has access to. And that's why I fought so hard about Ira's street crossing policy before that was changed. They won't talk to you if you're in a street, and I tested it. I veered out into traffic just to test it. I wasn't going to get hit, but I just wanted to see if they would actually talk. They didn't talk. And I never understood. Why can't you tell a blind person when the light changes? Because that's a visual information that is already available to anybody. Nonetheless, let's see. The comment here, Carrie says, so how would you make a store fully accessible? I think there's ways to do that. You could use beacons. You could use the pill bottles that CVS or any of these things have. They have little stickers on them that have the audio. So, these companies are already putting labels on them. So you could have something like a pen friend system type thing. You could put Braille on shelf tags, although those would probably fall off. And would probably cause a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a number of things that could be done. You could, with any kind of a built-in NFC tag type thing.
Sure, but those are all
NFC reader.
Those are all imperfect solutions with drawbacks, right? The person has to have a device to read the NFC reader. The blind person.
Everyone has their phone.
So
everyone already has the tech. Not everybody, but a lot of people, and it would certainly provide way better access than what we have.
Yeah.
The store could also have readers available that, once you walk in, here's a reader. You just use this reader, and then when you're ready to check out, you just hand it back. They can use it for the next customer. There's a lot of things that could be done, and some of those wouldn't cost that much or take that much effort to do, since they're already putting labels on things.
Sure.
And the barcodes are already there, so all we need is a system to get the information off the barcode in a way that a blind person could access very quickly. As you're passing through an aisle, you know exactly what things are, and then if you want to drill down in the details, you easily could get that information. And I think it could be done, but...
Yeah, but in the meantime, so even with that, it's not gonna be a perfect solution for everybody. And so
Yep.
I think on the other side, I do like the way the NFB pushes, figure out your own alternative techniques that work for you. Because
Sure.
I think...
Sure, figure out alternative techniques, but it shouldn't take away that we need access.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. But part of that access in, the imperfect world we live in is, figure out the alternative technique that's going to work 98, 99% of the time, or the one that's going to work a little less. So that's the other side of it, too, is, I don't think
Carrie
the NFB
says
would
it
disagree.
wouldn't be effective. I don't know. Maybe she was talking about your statements. I'm not sure. Tagline, I don't know what that's about. Want the life you have? Okay. I don't think you want the life I've got, but sure, you can have it if you want. We've got a spammer. We'll block this person.
Yeah, go away.
I don't know why we're getting so many spammers today. You're both crazy. And
Ooh.
right. Thank you.
Ooh, who thinks we're both crazy and right? Is that you?
Some of those crosswalk lights are backwards. Okay. Well,
Yeah, that is actually a good point, because I have seen some. There's not really a universal standard for audible signals. So and that's not the fault of the tech necessarily, but yeah, I've seen one even in the same city, where the north, south, east, west are totally reversed, and
some of that is relatively easily. I've gone to city, meetings or whatever, and requested. Some cities have an app you can request these things, but sometimes it's just a matter of reaching out to them, and they will make some of those fixes relatively easily or quickly. But yeah, that can be an issue for sure.
And I've seen a couple that were loud enough that it was hard to hear the traffic, and that's a problem.
Yeah, And I've seen some that are too quiet and you can't hear them at all. And I don't think there's a really,
Yep.
a great, I don't know.
Yeah.
Gene, crosswalk lights are designed by the states. I thought you said they were federal. Now you're saying they're states, so I'm confused. They're designed by the states, and they regulate how long you have to cross. It's how long you have to cross is per intersection. Some intersections are quite wide, so you need a lot more time and are busy and all that. And also the time of tends to change depending on time of day and the amount of traffic. Sometimes they have sensors that detect if there are cars waiting to go and things like that. So there's a lot of variability. And the drivers don't care if you're walking across. Well, that's true for any person, so I don't know what makes blind people so special.
Yeah.
Gene says stores are cheap. They don't want to spend the money to implement. It wouldn't cost them hardly anything to implement.
No.
They just need to know that they have to implement it, or that they should, but it wouldn't really cost them very much to. And I think that's it. So, Kirt, what do you say we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it. This was a good one.
And, if you want to leave us comments, feel free. If you want to reach out to us, then do that. If you want to come on and have a chat with us live about it, then that's fine. Thank you very much for joining us. Kirt, thank you for showing up. Be interested to see.
Thank you for showing up.
Well, I think, let me tell you guys a story. Here's a story. Last week, Mr. Kirt, he had some issues with his internet. He was traveling and all that. But what really is the real story, I don't actually know if it is, but I'm going to say it is. What the real story is, he was visiting his girlfriend, and they decided to hang out and have a good time. And magically, T-Mobile was having an outage, or poor signal. Something.
Is it really hard for you to believe that T-Mobile was having a bad network experience, though?
I think it's suspicious. Who knows?
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next week. And by the way, I think start looking for maybe Kirt, or I don't know if I have time, but we'll be maybe putting some videos other than these lives, just short things or quick recordings or whatever. So, all right. Thanks all. We'll see you. Goodbye.
Take care.